super proud to introduce Kevin Kastens and to give him this year's Legacy Award. We'll have him read the actual inscription on here, which says, so Kevin Kastens, for a lifetime of service to the Hawkeye Marching Band, the Legacy Award of 2024. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Very nice, very nice. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
One announcement before we turn it over to the rest of our speakers. There will be building tours after the remarks are done tonight. So if you haven't seen all this wonderful building, get you a tour. It'll be awesome. There's always music happening at the University of Iowa, and you can see one of the main places where that's happening. So with no further ado, let me introduce the 12th director of the Hawkeye Marching Band, Professor Kevin Kastens.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you so much. I kind of feel like I'm back in my tower, towering over everybody here. Haven't had that feeling for a while. I thought that this evening, and I know a lot of things have gone to iPhones and cell phones and things. I'm still using notes on old school paper. But first I'd like to thank the Alumni Leadership Board. I'm so pleased that that group got organized and to see how this group has really come together and just to make the Alumni Band experience so much stronger. And so I want to thank the Leadership Board for inviting me to be this year's featured guest. It's great to be back. I was thinking about what I'd like to talk about tonight, and I thought what I'd like to do is maybe reminisce a little bit to take a look back to one of our proudest achievements, and that's Take Back the Field. And so I want to reminisce a little bit, and after my first few seasons, I was confident that our alumni band could be willing to do even more and capable of doing even more. And so immediately following the 2000 season, there's a post-season game management meeting in which we look back at the previous season and kind of things to look forward in advance. And that was the first time I proposed that we look at having the alumni band perform the pregame show. And so there were a few questions, and they were going to take it under consideration. And one of the people in athletics that was very, very supportive of the idea was Les Steenlich. And I know some of you know Les, and he was very, very supportive. And they had the usual questions like, how big would this band be? And at that time, I think they were taking in about 150 alumni band members, and I'd asked for 160. I'd done some sketching on how many people we need to do the signature formations, the Iowa formation, the Hawks formation, and proposed the 160 plus fly corps and drum majors and Golden Girls. And so they approved that this year. And I'm very pleased to see this evening that those numbers have really increased from where they were back in 2001. So the plan was that the pregame show would be performed by the alumni band. They would do the run-on, they would do on Iowa, they would end in a concert formation, and they would do the fight song. And of course that would include the signature Iowa and the Hawks formations. And the plan was to, between those two selections, for the alumni band to perform the national anthem. So that summer, later this summer, I started sketching the show, and the only thing I would need to do is plug in the instrumentation, which I would receive from the Alumni Association. And the Alumni Association was also very supportive of that idea as well. Anything to encourage vets to come back, alums to come back, they thought it was a great idea. And so things were on track until 9/11. This was 2001. And 9/11 occurred, and just to kind of look back, the game that Saturday, 9/11 was on a Tuesday, the game that Saturday was against Iowa State. That game got canceled, as did, I think, most all of college football was canceled that weekend. So the next football game, the next home football game was homecoming on the 29th of September. And so one of the things that we wanted to do, and I mentioned this in my podcast, that became one of the one of the most memorable shows that we did both pregame and halftime. And so what happened was, as planned, the alumni band did the run-on, they did on Iowa, did the Iowa formation, and they ended in a block formation from which to play the national anthem. But because of the special occasion, we brought on the junior band drumline and sousaphones from the back of the field to join the alumni sousaphones and drumline. The rest of the junior band came in from the front sideline, and jointly, well, before they played national anthem, the junior band played the short God Bless the USA arrangement that we do to play the ROTC onto the field. And then both bands performed the national anthem that day. And then, of course, the Alumni Band concluded their portion of the pregame show with the fight song and the Hawks formation. And just as that kicked off, the junior band came off the field. And the junior band would get formed up in the south end zone to play the team onto the field. So that became a very memorable pregame show. However, you may recall, those of you that were involved, the Alumni Band also performed at halftime as well. And that was one of the most memorable shows from the standpoint I know that it touched Dr. Welch. The fans, I heard a lot back from the fans, and what had happened was that the junior band did an opening drill, a patriotic march medley. We played the full version of God Bless the USA, and then the Alumni Band joined the junior band, and we performed America the Beautiful, and I believe Dr. Welch conducted that, if I remember correctly. And so it was a very special, moving, patriotic show that, again, the fans remembered and were very complimentary about. It's something that was one of my highlight shows. So the following year and for the next several years, the format was very similar. Run on Iowa formation, concert formation, play the national anthem, and then close the show with the fight song and do the Hawks formation. And that happened for a few years, stayed the same for the next 7 years until 2009. What happened in 2009? The Big Ten asked all of the member schools to push the Star Spangled Banner later into the pregame clock so that both teams could be back on the field for the national anthem. And so what happened, so it's pretty much the back part of the pregame show is pretty much what happened in 2009. And so for the Alumni Band, that concert block became a true concert block, and for the first several years, leaders within the Alumni Band chose a selection to perform. And in just to refresh your memory, that in 2012, Hey Jude was played as a tribute to Dr. Tom Davis. That was the one tune. I believe there was a Dust Diker arrangement or two in those concert formations. But time is at the essence, and sometimes weather would get in the way, whatever it might be. And so in order to simplify that just a little bit, and also a little bit of request from the Alumni Association to play the alma mater. So after 2009, it would be 2013 was the first year that the Alumni Band performed the alma mater between the two selections, between the two fight songs, and that has stayed in place for quite a while. The athletics got behind us in putting the lyrics, because I think most of the fans didn't know the lyrics to the alma mater. It's a beautiful alma mater. And so that was something that was played. And so looking over my 20 years, certainly Take Back the Field is one of our greatest achievements. I say ours because you made it happen. You know, you get nervous that very first time. We sell this to athletics, and then, boy, it's got to come off, and people got to show up for that rehearsal and all that. So, but it did. You pulled it off just fine, and certainly a great achievement. And a couple other achievements I just wanted to mention of note that I was very pleased that I was part of. This one, not so much as far as the 2008 flood. But one of the things that was amazing is that it was devastating, presented many challenges to the junior band, but as the bands always do, I'm sure in your own bands, I'm talking to the alumni, and then of course the junior band that performed with me, that always would rise to the occasion, would overcome the challenges, and so they did a great job overcoming the flood and some of the changes in rehearsals and things like that. I won't go into details about that. But also, I was very pleased to be able to serve on the committee that designed and opened the new indoor-outdoor practice facilities, which opened in 2014. So I was very happy to be part of that. And I was also honored to participate in 15 bowl games during my 20 years, including the 2016 Rose Bowl. Everything about the Rose Bowl was wonderful except for the score of the game. And when that opening kickoff was run back, it was going to be a long day. But it was really a great day. And one of the stories, if you haven't seen the podcast yet or listened to the podcast, One of my favorite stories is that, of course, one of the requirements to be at the Rose Bowl is to march in the Tournament of Roses parade. And many of you that have participated in that know that you have to get there awfully early in the morning. It's about a 5.5-mile march on the parade route, plus the staging area and the de-staging area. So one of the funniest things, so we get to the end of the parade, and, excuse me, In-N-Out Burger actually fed all the bands that were in the Tournament of Roses parade. It's a very nice thing. And so we get to the end of the parade route, and then you still have about another mile or so to walk over to this park, this huge park where they had this. And you can probably all picture this, that, you just had a long parade, and there's feet are kind of dragging, and, they're just kind of chatting, and the instruments are down and everything, and people are sweating and all that. And then as soon as the first band members saw the In-N-Out truck, boom, they ran for that truck. And so it was a very comical scene, and it's still very vivid in my mind today. It was a lot of fun. I also wanted to say that I also am pleased that I had the opportunity to move into this building in 2016. And I wasn't sure if I'd see a new building before I retired, but I was able to be here, and Dr. Heidel now occupies my office. But I was very pleased to be part of all these things. But most of all, whenever people ask me, what do you do, or what did you do? I said, well, I taught at the University of Iowa. Well, what did you teach? Well, I was in the School of Music, and I was the Hawkeye Marching Band Director, and I would always tell people that I had the best job on campus, and I truly did. As Dr. Bush had mentioned, Eric mentioned, that we have the opportunity of working with students from every major, every discipline. We have students that, all the students that possess a great pride in their university, a strong work ethic. I love that Midwest work ethic. And they just exuded Hawkeye spirit, just great students to work with. And it just, Facebook is one of the best things because it's so much fun for me to watch. I think I've got following 857 people or something last time I looked. But it's fun to see now what my former students are doing, not just the music students, but all the students, what they're doing today, their families, children, and all that, future Hawkeye Marching Band members. So very, very pleased to have been part of it from that standpoint. So I want to thank you again for inviting me this evening. It's great to be a Hawkeye, and let's go Hawks on Saturday. Thank you. Thanks.
One more round of applause, please.
Thank you. Thank you.